Guys, we're two peas in a podcast. Is that how you say it? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
two peas in a podcast.
Two
That's what
peas
I always call us.
and polar opposites.
Welcome to the Chill Chats. I'm Ashleigh Rose,
And I'm Jenna.
and we are two halves of a very chronic shit show. I feel like every single episode, we're just going to get very, very, very chronic shit show. It's just going to keep growing. But today we are talking about when is the right time to disclose your diagnosis. Now, this is going to touch all aspects of your life from your school, work, family, friends, dating,
All the good jazz.
all the good jazz. It takes all that jazz. Yep.
All your jazzy circles in your life. Sorry, I gotta behave.
Silly, goofy mood, Jenna.
I'm not shy anymore, guys.
Not shy anymore. Makes slightly some sense sometimes. It's okay, but shake
I'm
it off.
just so
Wait, shake it off.
excited about it that I think my excitement, since we can't talk about it, is like spilling
I
over
know.
here in goofiness.
By the time you all listen to this, we will have already spoken and obviously launched our podcast. But right now we're recording and we have all this pent up excitement and we haven't shared it with anyone. Is that good marketing? I don't know. But if there's anybody out there that wants to help us with marketing, please let us know. Reach out. Okay.
And if this isn't chronically ill, Ashley's been sick all these.
Yeah, I literally have been sick recording every single episode. So if you're like, why does she sound so sultry? It's an upper respiratory, babe. But in all seriousness, moving forward to our rose and thorn for the week. My thorn, remember that cute little flight that I booked the wrong dates for and all that kind of stuff? Well, they were the right dates, just the wrong month. But either way, I digress. Well, that was to go see my husband's grandfather, Pa, who has been a part of his life his entire life, but my life for 16 years. So it's kind of like an honorary grandfather to me at that point. And we went to go see him and we got to say goodbye to him. It was just one of those things that it was very heavy. It's not a traditional thorn in the sense of like, oh, this really bugged me, but it's just very heavy and the grief that's there. We did get special moments with him. He is 96, but nothing prepares you for saying goodbye to a loved one. It doesn't matter how old they are or not. And it's just very surreal. So he did pass away over the weekend while we were there. This has just been weighing heavily on us and the grief that's there from my husband, his family, his loved ones, and myself as well. So that is the thorn for the week. And the rose, I will say, it's on the same stem, babes. The rose and the thorn, same stem, because it was just so beautiful being able to go see him one last time and to say I love you and hear him say I love you back was something that we will cherish forever. And I just had little moments with him over the weekend that were just really special. And I'm happy my husband had that time too, and that we had time with Ma and his mother and just family. We really did. And so it is one of those things that, as much as it pained all of us to say goodbye, it's also something that brought us together. So that is my rose and my thorn for the week. There's just a general heaviness that I think comes with grief.
I'm just so grateful you guys got to go out and see him and spend that quality time with
Thank you.
him and say
Me
your
too.
goodbyes.
Yeah, me too. It was really special. Honestly, we went back and forth between an impromptu weekend visit to New York City or waiting. And I told my husband, I said, I would give absolutely anything. And I'm sure all of you out there listening who have lost a loved one would agree. I would give absolutely anything for just one more. I love you. And to be able to have had that is really special. So,
It's so beautiful to get that. And I don't think
yeah.
any amount of money or time or anything can ever replace that. So I'm so grateful that you guys went out and did that despite all the flight chaos
I
and
know, despite the chaos, despite all of the hiccups, but it is something that we will cherish forever. And that is why it is also my rose. So, yeah. Jenna, what about you?
so for my thorn this week, it is my dryer's not drying. I have like
Boo.
the weirdest little thorns of the week, but that's just like little things that are like frustrating that make a difference.
Mhm.
I had to dry my load of laundry 4 times for it to be completely dry.
Did you have 4 times the spoons to do that?
Oh,
Because, like, rude of your dryer.
and what's worse is like I did it 3 times and I thought, "Oh, 3 times will work." So I went to bed while it was still drying, and it was still wet when I woke up. So I was like, "Oh, fun." So that's just a thorn because it's like now I'll have to get maintenance here. I worry about maintenance with my cat and everything. So It's just a
Valid
little
worries.
another thing to
Valid.
add to my to-do list to check off.
That is frustrating though, but that is the thing about the rose and thorns is that the thorn is anything that can be just frustrating. It just adds
Mhm.
to your plate, right? Just something that's just like there and you just have to get it off your chest. So thank you for sharing that thorn because that is something that I'm frustrated for you. And I love
Yeah.
the duality between our thorns. I'm like, we've lost a loved one. And you're like, my fucking dryer.
We balance each other out a little
It's called
bit.
balance. Okay. This is why we work well together. That is I'm keeping that
I
in.
didn't wanna
That is
say it,
so
but I'm glad
funny.
you said that because I was thinking that.
If you were thinking that and I was thinking that, we
Yeah.
know you at home listening were thinking that. So we're just gonna put that out there. We know it's called duality, it's called balance, and we appreciate each other for it.
Yeah, so my rose then, I'm just really excited about the podcast. I am very proud of us for taking something that was like a crazy idea or a dream that like was just a silly little thing at one point and actually making it happen. It just shows that if you truly believe in yourself, that you truly can do anything you want and you have no idea where life is going to take you and just to
Mhm.
embrace it and go after the things you want to achieve because it is possible.
Yeah, and if it's on your heart, it's on your heart for a reason. So, doing little steps in that direction, right? This didn't happen overnight. Like when we think about how long it took for us to get to this part right here where we're recording and we're posting and it's live and you're giving us feedback and all that kind of stuff. It started so small and it started again with just a feeling on our hearts individually. We didn't even know each other at
Mhm.
the time when we were like both like, you know what, I really want to do a podcast. And then it just grew into this beautiful thing. So I think it just really goes to show that if it's on your heart to move forward, even in the smallest little steps towards what you want in life, because it can come true.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was like early 2023. I was talking to some of my coworkers and I was like, I want to create a podcast to talk about all this because I want to hear these things and I can't find them anywhere. And it's like, I want to do that for someone else because
Yeah.
I'm very much a podcast person where I looked for so many podcasts when I
And I'm
first
very
got
much
diagnosed.
not a podcast person. It's so funny.
But here you are.
I know, here I am. All
I
thanks
remember
to you.
listening to your podcast you were on and I was like, ooh, a young person I can finally
Yeah.
find.
Yes, I love being a guest on podcast, and now I have my own very surreal moment.
Yeah.
Very surreal.
But I just think it's exciting, and I remember, at one point I did make one by myself, but it was just
Oh,
it
okay.
didn't make it very far, but it's like all these
It's
little
okay.
baby steps to here we are.
Right.
And it's just at one point, it was just like this crazy, silly little idea, and here we are making, hopefully, a difference in other people's lives by sharing our story.
I love that. You know what that also you mentioning that, like, you started one by yourself and you're like, "Yeah, but that didn't really go anywhere." But it's also one of those things that it's not that you weren't meant to have a podcast, it just wasn't the right time or
Time.
situation.
Mhm.
And I do feel like a lot of times in life, we are hit with no's and we're hit with closed doors and we're,
It's
that job we really want.
redirection.
Yeah, that job we really wanted, we don't get, or that this and that, and all these no's. And when you look at it like that, yeah, it freaking stings. It hurts. You're allowed to feel those feelings. But when I started looking at that as redirection, because
Mhm.
after you tried a podcast and it didn't work out by yourself, you weren't like, "I'm never gonna do it again." You were
Well,
just
I
like,
was
"This
just like,
isn't it."
"Okay, this is not gonna work for me by
Yeah.
myself. I think it'll be so much better with 2 people." And then sprinkle in Ashley.
We and then me, and then I came along. But it is just one of those things that when you start looking at no's and closed doors in your life as redirections and that it is somehow working out for you, it allows you to process through those feelings, which again are very valid, and just get to the next step and keep going. So I think that's beautiful. And I'm very proud of us too. And I love that that's your rose for the week.
Thank you. I think it's just really exciting, and I have a lot of big emotions about it, but good emotions, just, like, I'm
Yes.
so proud of us and to, like, look how far we've come in
Hmm.
our journeys. It's just really exciting.
I think it's just so crazy that we are already halfway through the season.
I know, it's crazy.
Like, what do you mean episode 5? It's very surreal. And, we have 10 seasons for this no, what? I mean, yeah. We have many seasons. That's the goal. But, I can't believe we're halfway through the season, and thank you for joining us every Thursday for new episodes.
And we have some very exciting seasons planned for the future.
Some mini season similar we even some mini series sprinkled in there on topics that we just wanna talk a little bit more about, like trying to conceive and pregnancy and MS and all that kind of fun stuff. So, in relationships, I feel like that mini series is one that I am very excited to keep working on.
Maybe have some guests on.
Some guests would be really cool. Okay, well, we're not gonna give away all of our secrets. You're gonna have to just keep listening and also follow along so that you are in the know immediately. So with that, we're gonna move forward. Jenna, take it away.
Today, we really just want to talk about what it's like when you share your story and what we've experienced because everyone experiences different things. Some people experience positivity and support, other people, it's more negative, unfortunately, and they don't get as much support as others. But we think that these are really important areas to talk about. It's, do you tell these people? Do you tell work? Do you not tell work? How do you go about that? And we just want to share our experiences about it and what we've been through.
Yeah, I mean, if you can remember when you were first diagnosed, maybe you are, maybe it's been a few years, but personally, when I was first diagnosed, I wish I had someone to listen to or just guide me through that because I didn't know what to do. What's the etiquette, right? Like you're diagnosed with something, okay, that's nobody else's business. However, it's impacting multiple areas of your life, like school, work, your relationships, your family. Like, when is the right time to tell them? And I just want to say, before we get too far into it, there is absolutely no right or wrong time to tell anybody. Like, it's completely up to you. This is a personalized, unique journey. So you can do no right and no wrong by not telling people or by telling people. What I do think matters more than the timing of when to disclose is who you are disclosing it to. I think it really does matter.
I second that because who you tell can make the biggest difference. And unfortunately, sometimes you won't know until you tell them.
Mhm.
But realizing you're not alone in whatever reaction you receive is really helpful. That's also why I wanted to do a podcast because when I was diagnosed, I looked for so many podcasts about what it was like to live with MS. I wanted to hear other people's experiences because I didn't know anything. I didn't know about MS. I didn't know how to navigate this world. I was 21. I was in college. Like, I struggled. I didn't know whether to tell work, to tell friends, school,
Yeah, it's
and
all new to you. Like, what do you do? Yeah.
I did search the internet high and low to hear other people's experiences, and that has helped me, so I wanna share mine so that it can at least help someone else, and this is an area that I struggled in.
I feel like this is an area everyone struggles in because there's no textbook on etiquette. There's no right or wrong, like I was saying. Like, you have the rights within yourself to tell anybody you want, absolutely anyone, a stranger on the internet, a stranger in the grocery store. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to go about this, and you do not owe anybody your diagnosis. You don't owe them an explanation.
Or any of your health information. I had people demanding to know my doctors and what they were saying, and you don't owe that to anyone.
No, you don't owe that to a single person. Disclosure is a choice, not a moral obligation. Okay. This experience is just so unique. So you really have to, again, take some time to sit with yourself and be honest and say, who is it that I want to tell? Who would, if
Who
I
gets the
told them,
privilege to know?
yeah, who gets the privilege to know? That's a really good way of putting it because it is a privilege to know. And it is something that if you are like, okay, I want to tell this person because I do feel like they support me already, I feel like they're going to just support me more, then do that. But if there's also somebody that you're like, this person never really supports me and they're always kind of nasty to me, maybe you don't want to say it to
If you
them.
already see the red flags.
Don't ignore red flags, babes.
Yeah.
Do not, okay? Don't ignore the red flags. But again, disclosure is a choice, not a moral obligation. And the more you kind of move with that feeling, the easier it becomes to decide who you want to tell and how you want to discuss this. So I think starting at the outermost sphere of our influences, right? We have work out there, your acquaintances, your coworkers, your boss, all that kind of stuff. Do you tell them? You were just diagnosed with something. Are you like, "Hey, by the way, I was diagnosed with this incurable condition." What do you do? Do you communicate to them or do you keep it to yourself? Like, what do you do?
I had a little bit of an interesting experience because at the time I was 21 and I was still in college, but I was working for my parents because my parents own a business. In many different aspects, it was really helpful because if I needed to study more, I just went go to work. If I had appointments, I just went go to work. All my jobs I had up until this point, I knew the managers or people in charge. My first ever job interview was with someone that has known me since I was a baby. I was at their wedding. The people that
Dang.
I yeah. So, my experience at jobs were very different, but then I graduated college because I found out my junior year, and I didn't know what to do. I got my first what I call big girl's job, and it was through the state. I was terrified, I didn't know what to do. I had never been in a cubicle. Is that how you cubicle? Yeah.
Cubicle? Why yeah, but why did why do you split cubicle? Yes, a
Okay.
cubicle. I love that. Yeah, cube.
It was in the office, and I don't know about anyone else, but I get migraines. Staring at computer screens are really hard, and I struggled. I really struggled with what to do because 2 weeks into this job, I was like, "I don't think I can do this." Coming in to work all day, sitting 8 hours at a desk, at a computer screen, I struggled. Then on top of that, I was navigating health appointments and things, and I didn't know how to go about that. I remember when I first got this job and I was filling out all the paperwork, there was a spot to check if you had a disability. And I remember talking to my parents and saying, "Do I check that or not? Like, I don't
Mhm.
want to be treated differently if I check that now. Like, I don't know how to go about that." And I did not check it. But then 2 weeks into this job, I ended up talking to my manager, and I was honestly a really good experience. They were so understanding. They were so supportive. I was able to work from home
That's so nice.
because I was having such difficulties in the office. They're really accommodating when I need to go to a doctor's appointment or anything like that. I've never been met with, "No, you can't do that," or "I don't care," or anything like that. And I know some people have that I've talked to. So
Me? That's so nice for you, that I'm happy that nice people and understanding is still out there.
yeah, and I was really scared, but for me, I don't think I would have stayed at the job if I couldn't have found different avenues. I wouldn't have stayed if they weren't understanding, but, like, I was at a loss because I wanna do this, but I need to find ways that it works for me. My job is really understanding and has a lot of flexibility with disabilities and honors the Disability Act.
Ooh, spicy.
Hot
Getting a
take.
little
Some people
spicy
honor
hot take.
it.
They actually honor the Disabilities Act? Yeah, no, literally, that part. To piggyback off of what you were saying, though, I'm so happy that you were met with a gentle and compromising demeanor. I had quite the opposite experience, but I will say that this was also many years ago too. I feel like times have changed, but many years ago at my first big girl job, I was working for a huge hospitality hotel chain. They're very well known for their luxury. It's where I wanted to be. I had studied for this. I went to school for hospitality management. I loved it. I love the fast pace. I love hospitality. I'm good at it. And I'm working there, and, this is probably, like, 2 years before my diagnosis, and I'm starting to suffer from chronic migraine. I'm going to the doctor, they're like, "We don't know what's wrong." So I'm getting a, "I don't know what's wrong with me," but I'm not feeling well. Something's happening. So as I needed more time off for doctor's appointments and, just not feeling well, I had to have a conversation with them. While I love the hospitality world, I don't think that the hospitality world has as much grace and compassion as somebody with a disability or with a chronic condition needs. What I mean by that is that I thought, I'll have a conversation with my upper management and see where we're at. And at first they were like, sure, sure, sure. To my face, they were understanding. And then when it came to get my schedule or it came to actually implementing, like, hey, I can't work on these days or I need to take some more time off, I was really met with some hesitation and some annoyance. There was just an undertone of, "Ugh, you're not doing what I want you to do. You're not working the way I want you to work." And it really showed me that, like, I'm replaceable. It was a really shitty feeling. It just was something that I tried to work through. And again, to my face, they were like, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah." But then they were also like, "But you don't look sick." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And that was kind of my first introduction, well, even before I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I'm dealing with all of these other health issues that I guess tied in. Now I know in hindsight, I was probably in a flare, but it just was a really eye-opening thing where I told them they were understanding, but behind my back, they were not. And eventually I just get written off the schedule. Like slowly but surely just written off to where then I reach out. I was like, "I don't think that this is fitting anymore." They're like, "Yeah, it's not." And so that's kind of how I left a
Very
career.
professional.
Yeah, it's so professional. Once I was actually officially diagnosed, I had many of the upper management reach out to me and apologize, which I thought was really nice. But I wish it didn't have to get to that point. I wish it wasn't like a, we don't really believe you because we can't physically see what's going on with you. And also, you haven't told us anything tangible because saying, I don't feel well or something's going on and we don't know yet, or I'm in that gray area of, I'm not diagnosed with anything, but something's definitely wrong. I'm trying to figure it out, wasn't good enough for them to say, "We'll accommodate you." It was a, that sounds like weird because you look fine."
I think that's the hardest part too, because I honestly don't know how I would have done it if I didn't work for my parents when I was figuring out my diagnosis because now there's documentation. It's a real thing, but when you're figuring it out, you don't have that documentation that work has to legally let you go to your appointments or things like that. And it's the I don't know what's wrong with me, but something's wrong and I need to figure it out versus, oh, I have to go to a doctor's appointment. Obviously, they put my health first.
Right, it's a gray area, and so while I don't regret telling them because I do feel like everything adds up into experiences that I needed, because I do end up getting another job in hospitality, one that I love, one that actually was more demanding of me. I don't know how I did it, but I did. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. It opened my eyes to where, again, I don't regret telling them, and I'm happy as who I am, myself, Ashley Rose, I knew I wanted to communicate with them. I knew that I wanted to be honest, and however they decided to take it is on them. And I do feel like the apologies that came years after, once I was actually officially diagnosed, they were like, "Oh shit." And so I do hope that that helps them in some way, some capacity, but for other people out there, if you have ever been in that gray area of that diagnosis, like I don't know really what's happening, but something is, and you are met with a, well, that's not good enough, or I don't really know what you're going through because I can't see it, and you don't have a word to put behind what you're feeling. I see you. It sucks. It just downright sucks. And that's it. It just sucks.
Do you have to say, with all these topics we're going to talk about, it freaking sucks. But I also think it shows you what these people are like, and you don't want to be surrounded by these people. Like, you don't want to be in a job where they
Absolutely.
don't care about their employees or you as a human. And, like, yes, there's plenty of jobs out there where you're replaceable, they can replace you, but there's plenty of jobs too where people do care. At least through my experience, I think I've learned that yes, it sucks, but at least I've seen the truth and I've seen what people actually are like, and I don't want to be surrounded by that.
Absolutely. It definitely does remove the mask of a lot of people. And you're just kind of like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. And, that's on you. That's on you. Like, you're not gonna take that on, I'm not taking that on. Like, how you respond to what I'm going through, something that affects me, is on you, and learning to be okay with that and also walking away from people. So I think in totality, whether it's work, school, relationships, dating, family, when you are honest and raw with them and how they respond, a good way to always look at it is knowing that however they respond is on them and not on you. I cannot control how they respond, how they feel, what they say, what they do. I can't control other people, but I can control myself. So again, when I had to look within myself and say, do I want to tell them? Do I want to be honest? Do I want to communicate with them that I'm not feeling well? And even though I don't really know what's happening, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Because if I wasn't in that position, I would want my employees to come to me and tell me, hey, I'm not feeling well. Something's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I would have met them with compassion. But again, I can't control other people, and that's okay. And we're going to learn that. And like Jenna was saying, it teaches you who people are. And then you get to use your best judgment of, you know what, I don't really want to tolerate that, or they're not for me, and letting go and making room for people who are going to support you and really show up for you, and leaning on those people versus the people who show that they might not have that in them right now. They're not mentally there or emotionally capable. And that's okay because that's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them.
My biggest tip is, and it took me a while to do this, but
It's
is
okay.
to say what you need to say and then imagine slamming a door in their face. As mean as
Yes.
that sounds, but it's like their response is on them. If they wanna scream at you and be mean or whatever, like, the door's there, it's blocking it out. You don't need to take that on. Like, you said your piece and you said what needed to be said, and you're standing up for yourself. You're putting your boundaries up, showing you respect yourself, and they can't do that. And whatever they want to respond with, sorry, the door's there. Can't
Yeah.
hear you.
Exactly. I think in the workforce, it's interesting that we both had completely opposite responses, but that's the point, right? We're all so different and our positions are unique, right? Like you also had your parents who were understanding. Then you got this other job that was also understanding. That's the difference. Even our conditions are snowflakes, our experiences and our circumstances are also different. Like I do wish that there was more understanding and compassion in the workforce in general for those living with chronic conditions, but again, you won't know until you ask if you feel comfortable doing that, if you want to. This is all up to you. It is a personal preference. You can disclose it if you want to. You can not disclose it if you don't want to, and that's completely okay. Just know that whatever does happen, your experience is valid and you deserve compassion, you deserve peace, and you deserve accommodations. You really do.
Know your rights too. I know we shouldn't say that because it sucks that we have to know our own rights, but there is a Disability Act for a reason.
Yes, you do need to know your own rights because I had no idea about the Medical Leave Act, and that did help me in my position that I was in. Let us know in the comments what your experience has been, whether you're looking for a job, whether you've had to step away from a job, because I had to do that too. Even after I got my second job and I loved it and I was traveling, that's actually when I was officially diagnosed, which I think all the inflammation from travel and stress definitely led to that. But I loved it. I loved it so much and I miss it, but I knew I couldn't do it. Like I knew I had to step away. And thankfully, fortunately was in a position to do so because I had my family and my friends all being like, you can't do this. You're gonna like work yourself to the ground. And I'm like, but I love it. And I didn't want to let go. But in hindsight, I'm happy I did because I needed to. I end up losing half of my vision. So please let us know your experiences. I am curious because just know no matter what, it's not easy. This decision is not easy,
Mm-mm.
but it is something personal. So you get to decide that for yourself. And I do hope that you get some comfort in hearing our stories and our experiences.
And along with this, I think school fits into this because I am in grad school now. Undergrad, I didn't tell anyone that I had MS or that I was going through
But you were
it.
like almost done. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to
Yeah.
keep going.
I will say in undergrad, I did drop quite a bit of classes my senior year, but I had the luxury to do that because I had taken summer classes and I was ahead of my credits. I don't think I could have managed doing a full 15 course semester while figuring out this. So I was fortunate in that way where I found what worked for me and didn't. With grad school, I did not want to go into it telling anyone about my MS. I talked about it in some classes just because of the topics around therapy we were talking about were disabilities, where I feel like it related, but I didn't go into it thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna get accommodations," or anything like that, but my advisor recommended I do, and I have mixed feelings about them because they are really helpful and it's good to have them, but also it's like, I don't want it to be seen as, like, a crutch,
Okay,
and
but I want to know your mixed feelings about them. Like, what is it?
I just don't want it to be seen that, like, I'm just using my MS as a crutch, and, like, there were a
But
few.
why would you feel like it's a crutch? Sorry, we're gonna unpack this. We're unpacking this live and raw right now. Because, like, why would you feel like an accommodation that's there to help you would be a crutch?
Like, one of my accommodations is I get extra days to do my assignments if
Mhm.
I need in case I'm in a flare-up or something, and I don't want, like, professors to think, "Oh, I'm just relying on that or, like, taking advantage of things," and I guess that is also stems from things I've been previously told.
What? That's crazy. Wow. Wow, didn't know you what?
That is just
What?
kinda, like, engraved in me, but it was helpful. The reason I got them was last semester I got really sick and I had missed class, and my school is very specific about missing classes, and we can get knocked down letter grades if we miss a class. my accommodations just allow me to have a little bit, I would say, of a safety net protection for the unknown. Like, we can't control everything with MS. We don't know when we're gonna flare up. It's better to have them in place than, "Oh, no, you have a flare and you can't make
And
it
you're
to
trying to
class for 2 weeks."
backtrack.
Yeah, like, it's better just have them up front. Looking back at it, I'm glad I have them. I do get a little, I don't know if insecure is the right word, but it's like, I guess I don't wanna be judged for it.
Does anybody else know you have them? Like, other than, like, the teachers and stuff?
Well, my few friends do, but other than that, no. But I don't
Okay.
wanna be judged by the professors, and I think they've made it very clear that they're always evaluating us to see if we can be an internship. I think that just also shows how the things people have previously said to me have been engraved in me. Like,
Have
I
yeah,
shouldn't.
how they stick with you.
Yeah.
No, because I feel like there's an undertone of guilt, and I feel
Yeah.
like there's an undertone of, like, fear of, like, I'm using
Shame.
this when I don't really need it. Yeah, exactly, some shame, and let me just tell you, fuck that. Like, full disrespectfully, fuck that, because you should not feel guilty for using accommodations that you do need that are helpful, right? And even just having them in case you need them, that
Mhm.
is in preparation, right, of the unknowns that come with multiple sclerosis. We don't know how we're gonna wake up feeling. We don't know how tomorrow is gonna be. We don't know the next day. And so even just having them there in your back pocket can be a sense of relief, a sense of, like, security, and you are deserving of that. So also, disrespectfully, fuck what other people think, because if they're gonna judge you, they're gonna judge you anyways, babes. I mean, everyone judges
That's
people, right?
true.
And at the end of the day, I don't care. Judge me while I have what I need to do the best that I could possibly do. It's a lot of letting go of what's outside of your control because you can't control how other people view you, your professors, your classmates, your friends, your family, whoever it is. You will not be able to control or dictate how they view you or how they think of you, but you can also move forward to your best ability and make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. And however that looks like, as long as you feel good about it and you can lay your pretty little head to sleep at night, then that's really all that matters. And I'm just so proud of you for doing that and getting those accommodations that, whether you use them or not, are there to support you. And I feel like that's the biggest thing is that it's there to support you. They're there for a reason and there's no shame in using them. And absolutely nobody is thinking anything of that. And if they are, they're not telling you, right? So you need to believe the truth, which is no one said anything, but because of things you've been told before, you feel like, well, they might be thinking that because somebody else has said something really messed up to you in the past. But like, ugh. Like, no,
Yeah.
I wish I could erase those words because they are so far from the truth, and I'm sorry that you were ever made to feel that way because that's just unfair. That was just unfair for them to say, and it's untrue.
And I think if anyone else feels this way, one, don't, which is hypocritical of me to say.
Just don't feel that way. Take it from Jenna, just don't feel that way.
If Ashley was talking to me and telling me this stuff, I'd be like, "You should not feel shame. That's what accommodations are for. They're to help you if you ever need it." I fortunately got sick and struggled with my health over winter break, but if I got sick during the semester, I probably would have had to use them. It's a whirlwind, honestly, and I think that also goes into, like, the concept of the things that people say that are friends, family, partners make a difference and matter. It's important who you surround yourself with.
I will say it's always easier for the other person to be like, don't do that." That's why we correct each other a lot. We do a lot of
Mhm.
perspective shifts to each other because it's always easier for the other person or your friend to be like, "Hey, don't talk about my friend that way." But when you're in the thick of it, you don't think of it. So of course it's easier for me to be like, "Those are there to help you." And you'd be like, "Oh, yeah." I would say that to somebody else, but again, we're always going to be our harshest critic. So it's about kind of shifting that and trying to be gentler and kinder to ourselves. But until then, I will be here to gently correct everyone. To
And I need it, so
acknowledging
I
and
appreciate it. And I think
of
also
course.
being willing to hear what you have to say and take it in is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that kind of leads us into our family and friends, right? Like when you're diagnosed, who are you telling? I know that for me, I had my fiance at the time, Luigi. He's a star. I had my family who obviously knew. Titi, who was my number one supporter. She was with me throughout it all. She saw me cry many times. She was just always there to be like, it's okay, you'll be okay. And not in a like get over it type of way, but more in like a supportive, nurturing, nice way. I had my parents who were supportive of me, my brother. Like, I had people in my corner who knew before I came to the acceptance part of my diagnosis. And then as we widen out the circle, the sphere of our people around us, I had told some of my friends, and for a majority, a lot of them were very supportive. Okay, this is a hot take, but hear me out. When you're first diagnosed, isn't there like a flood of support? And then like
No.
everyone, no? You didn't experience that?
No, not really.
Okay, because I had people from like my childhood reach out to me being like, "Oh my God, hi, like I saw what happened. I'm so sorry. Do you want to get coffee?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
No, I
what?
didn't have that.
Okay. I don't know. But for me, I guess in my own I guess everyone leave your comment. Now I need to know because was it that you had a flood of support or you had no flood of support? Because for me, I had this like flood of support from people I haven't spoken to in years. Once I came out with my diagnosis and I was trying to accept it and I thought why not just rip the band-aid off and tell social media because that's how I handled it was just whoop, hello world, I have multiple sclerosis. That's how I wanted to handle it for myself. All these people were super supportive and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And as time goes on and as you don't get better, that support trickles down. And now here I am 7 years later and I have my core support again. My husband, my core friends, my family. That's it. And then of course like online community because you're always going to get more support from strangers online than you will people in your life. It's actually insane because I have always felt so supported and taken care of by complete strangers I have never
Mhm.
met. I have friends from all over the world who I'm like bestie and I love them and we're just so supportive of each other and it's a wild concept and that's why on one hand I love social media. But I will say as far as the other sphere, like people I know, people in my life, as I didn't get better or, I didn't let go of the bone. I'm a dog that didn't let go of the bone. And I kept pushing awareness. And I was like, I am going to keep talking about multiple sclerosis and my story to push awareness and to really help others understand it. I feel like that support dwindled down because I didn't get better. Because it's like, oh, she's still talking about this. And that was like a hard pill to swallow. But again, I don't regret saying it. I don't regret how I shared it with the world. And I don't regret people I've told. Now, on another hand, I have told some family members who, even if they mean the best, let's be honest, right? And we all have family members. We might have uh people in our lives who might mean well, but do they? But do they? Is it for real? Because I told them, and I'm just always met with a, well, just believe that you're better. Like, just think better thoughts. Like, you can think above this. Like, you can think more positively and you'll be okay. Like, it's a choice to have multiple sclerosis. I'm like, what the actual hell? And it is my choice to keep them in my life. I completely understand that. But these are also people that I love. They are my family. And I've had to learn to compartmentalize between what they're saying and my reality and being like, I don't agree with you and that's it. And knowing that their words and their beliefs do not diminish my experience and my reality. And that was a hard pill to swallow because while I don't regret telling my family members because they're my family, it is really hard when I get the whole stories about their friends, hairdressers, aunt,
Ugh, hate that.
cousins, mother, dog's sitter has MS and they're fine because they prayed it off. Like, oh, I didn't know I could pray this away because I pray every day.
Shoot,
I guess I don't pray enough.
I must not be liked by God
Yeah,
because,
we're not God's favorite, apparently. But my thing is, it is always hard, even again, if they mean well and they say stuff like,
I think
well,
sometimes though some people do mean well. It's just they don't know how to go about saying the things they say. Obviously, there are people that I have had in my life that don't mean well whatsoever. But
right,
like some people have never dealt with anything like this before that instead of just being upfront and asking what we need, they try to do it in their own ways, which then it doesn't always come off the best. So, like, I will give those people some grace, but there are some people where it's like, what you said is just awful and not okay.
some people I think do mean well and they don't know how to go about it, which is why I've made it my personal mission to spread as much awareness and understanding as to why certain things that were very like commonly said as like a, well, at least it's not cancer are like thrown into like the fire pit. Like this is, we're not saying this anymore.
Mhm.
It's
Just
2026.
be grateful. Your life
Just
is
be
so
grateful.
good.
Be
Other
grateful
people
it's
have it
not
worse.
worse.
Yeah, I love that one. I remember once I was at a gathering with close people in my life, and someone was talking about how someone had just died due to MS and how they were in a wheelchair and all these things, and I was just, like, standing there listening to this conversation, and this was recent after my diagnosis, and I was just like, "Oh, it's terrifying to hear those things," and sometimes people don't realize the impact of things like that when they say it and the comparison or, "Oh, this person does X, Y, and Z, and they're fine." I've had people be like, "Oh, my friend just takes vitamin D and this vitamin, and they're good." And it's like, "Okay, well, that doesn't work just for me." It's hard because like, it's so individual, and then it goes to the comparison thing of like, "Oh, that works for that person, but it doesn't work for me."
Right, and this is why it's so important to spread awareness that one person's chronic condition and how they handle it is not gonna be the same for the next person's, because sometimes that comment of, "Well, my friend's parent does this and they're fine." It's because they have a different, severity of symptoms maybe or whatever it may be, but everyone is just so unique, and that's why awareness matters so much. I will die on that hill. I will die on the hill of awareness because I hope to one day break that mold of, like, everyone's just, like, fits in this one box. Like, once you're chronically ill, you're here and that's the box that you're in and everyone fits in it. No, there are like layers and there are multitudes to it. I just wish more people understood that. So when these comments come around, yeah, sure, maybe that's so true. Maybe Aunt Betty did cure her MS by praying it away and never doing another MRI again, but that's her journey. It's not mine. So I think that also when we learn that there's an undertone of dismissiveness, dismissive, is that a word? Dismissiveness? Dismiss what? Dis Is that would that be the word? Dismissal? When there's when they're trying to dismiss our experience, I don't know. Does that ever happen where you're like, forget like a word and it sounds fake and you're like, just like, "Du-du-du, du-du-du"? That's literally what just happened to me. But anyways, when we understand that there's a tone of that, we can stop in our tracks and just think before we speak. I really hope to push that awareness out there so that other people can just stop saying comments like that, whether they mean well or not. There's other ways to go about it. That's why a lot of my content is instead of saying this, say this, right? Because there's ways to get that point across of, well, I just care about you. And maybe if you tried this,
There's a very fine line, though, between they're saying it because they care about you or just because they're manipulating and trying
yes.
to be,
And
not
unfortunately, it is
nice, and
our
I've met
job, and you've met them and you've been on the receiving end. And it is our job to discern which ones are which, right? And
mhm.
I fully, wholeheartedly always believe go back to trust your gut. If your gut doesn't like a person, your body will react to that. If you're just like, know that this person does not mean well, trust that because that is the truth. Okay. Your body doesn't lie. Your nervous system knows. Okay. So honor it and trust it and stop gaslighting yourself out of it. Okay, besties.
Yeah, it took me years to do that, but give yourself grace if you're going through these things because when I was diagnosed, literally 2 weeks after finding out about my MS, I was met with harshness, people saying things, saying it doesn't run in the family, you can't have it. People didn't believe me, it was fake. I had other people say I was posting for attention, and when I was first diagnosed, I made a Instagram page for my MS, and I didn't tell anyone I made it.
Why was that?
It was because my ex that I was seeing at the time told me I made that account to post for attention.
Red flag.
And that was not at all why I did it. I was looking for connection. I was looking to find people that related, and I didn't tell anyone. People ended up finding it on social media on their own and started following it, but like I didn't tell anyone about that account. That came from I was embarrassed, ashamed of it. I didn't want people to know, but that's because of what people were saying to me.
And you were embarrassed and you were ashamed and you didn't want people to know because of what people were saying to you, which that's a whole nother thing on its own, but you did it anyway.
Mhm, and I think honestly, yeah, anyways, and posting about it, bringing awareness gave me so much purpose. Like, I told friends and family and, like, word of mouth obviously got around. Sometimes I'd get texts and be like, "I'm so sorry, I had no idea." And obviously, I appreciate that, but I didn't tell anyone or make a post about it or anything until a year and a half after I found out about it, which would have been also half a year after my official diagnosis. I remember I did my first ever 5K. I didn't talk much about it, but I made an Instagram post just saying like I got into running because I got diagnosed with MS, and like that post was met with a lot of love from people and
Mhm.
comments and stuff, but like other people didn't reach out. to me like what you were saying, which is A-okay. That's not why I did it,
No.
but then I ended up posting more about it because I was fundraising with the MS Society for my marathon, and that even brought more purpose to me, and if people are annoyed with it, oh well, like, I don't it's
Yeah,
my
oh,
life and it's
wow.
my story, and I can handle it how I want it, and truthfully sharing it and being able to connect with other people was more important to me, and I learned that what I was going through was not normal. How people were supporting me and showing up was not normal. It's not normal to be told that by me being in other people's lives, I'm gonna ruin it because of my MS. I'm gonna hold people back. I'm gonna cause them to miss
That's
out on
terrible.
important things. That is not normal, and it's okay to talk about your diagnosis to people if you want to.
Absolutely. If you want to. I mean, that's where again it comes down to I'm doing this for my own reasons and I don't care if other people see that or not. Because I know my heart, I know my truth, and I know that I'm not doing this for attention. You're doing it for connection. And I think you keep saying like it's given me purpose. I think it also gave you strength. We talk about it all the time because, and I mean, it's a very annoying thing of how strong we have to be. Like, Mama, I'm tired. I get it.
I
But
hate that
also,
compliment, hot take.
Mhm. Yeah, like, "You're so strong," and I'm like, "I have no other choice." Like, "You think I'm strong, but babe, I'm just trying to get through it, okay?" But thank you. Thank you. I will always prefer that's also something this is, like, such a tangent, but that's also something that when people are like, "But you look so good," I'm like, "I will take the compliment. I know I look good." I didn't say I was ugly, I said I'm not feeling well. Like, "Babe, let's break that down." But I will always take a compliment over, "Yeah, you do look kinda terrible." Like, no, that's too far. Like, keep your mouth shut. I don't wanna hear it. But whatever, I digress. But it's one of those things that it was giving you not only purpose, but strength. You were gathering from
Mhm.
the collective, from other people who've gone through it. That post you were met with love that in turn helped you feel more confident in realizing that how these people were speaking to you is inappropriate, unkind, and unnecessary. They have no room in your life because you are rising up, you are leveling up, getting out of there and they're like, "Wait, wait, 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 I wanna keep her down, I wanna keep her down, I wanna keep her down." And you were like, "No."
And if you're surrounded by a lot of people doing that, like I was at the time, you think that's normal and it's hard for you to break through. I can't tell you how many times Ashley probably wanted to slap me across the face and be like, dude, run, get out of these situations. She was a lot kinder than
I was
that.
gonna say, I would never do that. Definitely gave you the space that you need because I do believe that when I see my friends in situations I don't want them to be in, I'm not ever gonna be an enabler. I'm not like, "Oh, yeah, just do whatever you wanna do." No, I'm like, "No, this is really messed up, and that's not okay." And I was definitely like, "This is not okay, this is not normal, you deserve so much more," and I just wanted you to see that and feel that for yourself because at the end of the day, I can lead a horse to water, I can't make the horse drink the water, and I
Mhm.
kinda feel like with you, I gave you this space, and I try to do it with all my friends, is that I give them the space to figure it out, but that I'm gonna support you no matter what, and I wanna be there for you.
Won't happen until you believe it yourself, and it can take
Exactly.
a long time. I was at the time in a relationship where I was being told that my MS was holding them back.
Ew. Ew.
I
Ew.
I was being beat down about my MS, and a message I was getting that it's something to be shameful of, to hide it, it's embarrassing, and at the end of the day, I started to believe that about myself. I started to believe that I would be a burden to people because of my MS because that's what I was told. It took a while for me to, 1, get out of that, and 2, reframe that to that's not the truth, and it made me scared to date again.
Yeah, naturally. I get that.
I went into the current relationship I am in now and was terrified. I am so grateful for the person that I'm seeing now. The person I'm seeing now literally sat with me and helped me reframe how I viewed myself, and he has no problem with my MS. It's not even a thing he thinks about, and it has made it hard because I have these pre-existing thoughts and concerns or worries that, "Oh, I'm gonna be a burden to him," because that's what I've been told, but through talking with him, that's never been a thing that's crossed his mind, and it's made it easier for having these conversations of, "Hey, so I might be switching treatment, and if I switch to this treatment, I can't have kids for this time," or this or that, and really hard conversations to have.
He's there supporting you versus somebody that was there just to put you down and make you feel terrible. I'm so happy that you have someone now that has helped you reshape those thoughts about yourself because that is really important that you take what was previously put into your head and change them into something that is more on par with the truth. Like, you are not a burden. You are not doing this for attention. You are helping yourself. You're helping others. And that's really important to have a partner that's supportive of that. And there are good people out there, my guys. There are good people. And if you're currently with someone who sounds a little similar to an ex of someone's here, please know that there are better people out there and it can take some time to leave, but you are deserving of so much more than the BS that they're trying to push down your throat.
And I will say, with my ex, I remember there was one time where he told me, "Just be grateful you have it better with it than everyone else." Like, there's
What
other
does that
people who
even
have things
mean?
there's other people that are more sick than you, and I just remember being so upset because this is at the beginning of my diagnosis, and I was saying, "That's not how I need to be supported. That's not working for me," and I remember sending him an article to be like, "This is how you support people, and this is what I need," and he was like, "I'm not gonna do that. If you want someone to support you that way, find someone else." And it took a long time, but I did. My ex wouldn't even ask how my infusions went. I remember once we got in an argument 2 days after because I was like, "Why did you never ask how my infusion went?" And the person that I'm seeing now went to an infusion with me. It wasn't even
Aw.
an issue. He shows up with flowers, a card, and food and supports me, is willing to talk about it. And I just want people to know what you wish you could have is possible. If you see people being treated that way, it is possible. I was surrounded by people keeping me down who thought, oh, I could never have that. No one would ever want to love me. Oh, I see Ashley and Luigi. I'm like, they're amazing. I didn't think I could ever have that, but you can. It is
Yes, you
possible.
can.
It breaks my heart to think about what I went through. And I share this not for attention, but for others to know they aren't alone and that you can get out of these situations. It's hard, but you can. And to tie it back all together, I just wanted to say that when it comes to dating, I don't think there is a right or a wrong time to tell someone. You kind of just
Mhm.
have to figure it out and what works best for you when you're the most comfortable. I have been in a relationship where I got diagnosed when I was with them and someone who knew beforehand, but no matter what, it's about how they respond and how they support you.
Absolutely. Those experiences, again, are shaping who you are and what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. And while you mentioned Luigi and I will say we are not perfect either. When I was first diagnosed, I had a very serious conversation with him. I looked at him and I was like, if you want an out, this is it. We were already engaged by that time, mind you, but I told him that I understood if this was too much, quotation mark, too much for him, and that if he wanted out, this is your only time that you can freely go, and I understand because whatever is coming with this, whatever multiple sclerosis throws at me, it's going to be a lot, and we had already been dating 8 years at that point. We were already together for almost a decade, but I still felt like I wanted him to make the choice to be there for me. Like, I needed that, and I think I needed him to need that too.
I need to know if this is a collective experience of did you give your partner an out because of your diagnosis?
Yes, please tell us, what were those conversations? Like, I'm so curious because, again, 8 years, that's insane, right? Because you're kinda like, "That's 8 years of your life, baby girl." Like, at this point, it's either a yes or a no. You're also engaged, but I wanted him to choose to tackle this with me versus a, "Well, we're together anyway, so you have no choice and you're in this with me." No, I needed him to think about it, and I needed myself to give him that. I just wanted that to be said, and when I tell you that he wasted 0 seconds being like, "I'm all in." Like, that's not even a choice. I'm here
That's how
with
it should
you,
be. Like,
and that's
even the
how it should
person I'm
be.
seeing now, I've said multiple times, "Well, you can still run away. There's still time. There's an
You can
out." And
still
he's
run
like,
away.
"No."
You can still, like, run for the hills, like, it's not too late, and they're
Literally.
like, "No." But it's such a valid thing of, like, I just want you to choose me and understand that this is gonna be a lot. We can do this together, but I need
As
it
a
for my own
team.
headspace. A team, exactly.
I think too that's another thing. You are the one who's diagnosed with MS, but it does impact all your relationships around. And I hate to say that
All
because
of them.
it shouldn't, but it does. And it's finding people that are not afraid to work with you, finding people that support you and show up willing to go through thick and thin with you and be a team. figure it out.
Absolutely. You're the one diagnosed, yes, but it does that sphere of influence, your closest people, and then those all that like expanding circle of people that touch your life in some capacity. Yes, this diagnosis impacts you. So you have the power to disclose with who you want to. So when you decide to disclose, how does that change the relationship dynamics? Like for me, when I told my friends, thankfully a majority of them, but again, I was in my 20s. When you're in your 20s, and Jenna, I know you were in your 20s too, our friends are like, let's go party. Let's go to the club.
Mhm.
Let's go do all these things. And I'm like, I want to go to bed. Like, it's time
I
for
know, I would
bed.
literally go to bed at, like, 8, 8:30.
Right. Like, I'm not chugging beers. I'm chugging water, like electrolytes. Hello. But it's about finding people and letting go of maybe some friends that are no longer in alignment. And it's not like anything bad happened. It's just you kind of fall out of friendships. And that makes room for newer ones that are supportive of you. Personally, when we had our bachelorette party, we did a conjoined one because a lot of our friends are the same friends after so many years together. And my girls literally were like, we're scheduling a nap in the middle of the day. And I'm like, thank
I
you,
love that.
Jesus. And so feeling that support and just having those friends that are there and that are willing to change and shift with the dynamic of your condition of what you're going through. And that's really what makes a difference. And
With what Ashley said, the biggest thing I've learned from all this is you can't make room for new people that will support you unless you step away from the people that are not supportive. It's hard to realize that these people aren't what you expected they should be. As shitty as everything I went through, and there's so much that I didn't even touch on, I wouldn't have changed it because I have grown so much from it, and it showed me how I should be treated, and now I have some of the most amazing supportive people in my life, some of the most amazing friends, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't lose the friends that couldn't handle my MS.
yes,
You know, it just makes room.
for those that can really show up for you. It's like that story I always tell you, and I
Mhm,
love the image of it too, is Jesus is standing in front of you and he has this giant teddy bear behind his back, but you're holding on to this like tiny little teddy bear and you're like, "But this is my comfort and this is all I know and these are my friends that I've had for forever." And he's like, "Just trust me. Let it go." And so once you let go of probably things that are hurting you, sometimes it takes you removing yourself to be like, damn, I really did not deserve that. That was really difficult. Why did I stay there for so long? Right. But either way, you did. And that's okay. You can step away. And then that's when he presents this giant teddy bear.
mhm,
And you're just like, oh, why was I so scared? Like before, Jenna, you were like, but this is all I know. Like, this is what I have. What if no one else loves me? What if no one else is supportive of me? And then you trusted yourself. You trusted God. You were like, okay, I'm gonna let him go. And then you're presented with more supportive people. And sometimes that's the flow of life, right? That ebb and flow that we constantly talk about. You have to let go of things that no longer serve you, and you get to decide what no longer serves you, and then letting that go and making room for things that do serve you. If there's anything else that you want us to cover more in depth, please let us know in the comments. Ask us questions. We would love to hear from you, hear your own experiences. Next week, we will be discussing the impact of our diagnosis on those around us, our relationships, kind of diving deeper into a little bit of what we touched on today. So, thank you all for listening. And if you're liking what you are hearing, please give us a review, rate the podcast, like, subscribe, all of the good things. We appreciate it so very much. With that, I'm Ashley Rose. You can follow me on Instagram at A Rose.
and I'm Jenna, and you can follow me at MS with Jenna.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Bye.